Pluto has confounded expectations throughout the 87 years that it's been known. Now, I'm fascinated with Pluto. And I used the subtitle Something Wonderful because Alan Stern, who is you'll hear me mention him a lot, the principal investigator of NASA's New Horizons mission to Pluto, when he was asked years before the flyby, what do you expect to find at Pluto? His answer was always something wonderful. And it certainly was. And Pluto has really always been it's like expect the unexpected. You never know what you're going to get. The controversy about Pluto didn't start in 2006. It started in 1930. Next slide. Oh, wait, no, you skipped. Yeah, so here's a cartoon from 1930, the stork delivering another little planet, a newborn planet to the sun and the other planets. But the controversy began immediately because remember they're looking for a gas giant. And of course, as soon as it was discovered, the observatory delayed announcing it for a month while they wanted to confirm that, yes, it's there, it's a planet. They couldn't resolve it into a disk. Planets are round. Stars are spherical, but they're so far away, they just look like a point of light. Well, they couldn't resolve it into a disk with the most powerful telescopes. So immediately, astronomers started saying, wait a minute, maybe it's a comet, or maybe it's the moon of a bigger planet, except no bigger planet was found. So one of the things that's important to consider is that Pluto was discovered really in the depths of the Great Depression. And that it was the good news in the midst of all this bleak, discouraging time. And really there wasn't much good news. And that made Pluto a big hit. Pluto, the discovery just excited people all over the world. And Walt Disney renamed his dog Rover after the planet. Pluto the pup. So it really was good news at a time, and it excited people. It also sort of supported the idea that anybody can accomplish something if they work hard. And Clyde Tombaugh did get a scholarship, a full scholarship to New Mexico State University, where he studied astronomy and got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. An interesting story, when he first signed up for Astronomy 101, the instructor didn't want to take him in the class. He was like, well, how am I going to have my other students here with somebody who discovered a planet? So Alan Stern, who's the principal investigator of the mission and basically has, pushed for it from the beginning, lists what he sees as the top 10 New Horizons discoveries. The first one, the complexity of Pluto and its satellites. The complexity of Pluto and its satellites is far beyond what planetary scientists expected. 2, the degree of current activity on Pluto's surface and the youth of some surfaces on the dwarf planet are astounding. 3, Pluto's atmospheric hazes and lower than predicted atmospheric escape rate upended all of the pre-flyby models. Pluto's atmosphere was believed to be either freezing out onto the surface because it's receding from the sun, or escaping because of interaction with solar wind. But the escape rate of the atmosphere is much, much lower than they thought. And it's now, no one knows for sure, but believed possible that Pluto may retain its atmosphere throughout the entirety of its orbit. We won't know because it's only been 87 years and Pluto takes 248 years to complete one orbit. 4, Pluto's atmosphere is blue. 5, Pluto's heart-shaped nitrogen glacier, actually it's that one side of it known as Sputnik Planitia, is the largest known glacier in the solar system. 6, Pluto shows evidence of vast changes in atmospheric pressure and possibly past presence of running or standing liquid volatiles on its surface, something only seen elsewhere on Earth, Mars, and Saturn's moon Titan, which is sometimes seen as Titan is seen as an early analog of early Earth. So yeah, there could have been liquid water flowing on its surface. Next, 7, Charon's dark red polar cap is unprecedented in the solar system and may be the result of atmospheric gases that escaped Pluto and then accreted on Charon's surface. 8, Charon's enormous equatorial extensional tectonic belt, that big gash there, hints at the freezing of a former water ice ocean inside Charon in the distant past. Other evidence found by New Horizons indicates Pluto could well have an internal water ice ocean today. 9, All of Pluto's moons can be age dated by surface craters to have the same ancient age, about 4 billion years, adding to the weight that they were formed together in a single collision between Pluto and another planet in the Kuiper Belt long ago. And 10, the lack of additional Pluto satellites beyond what was discovered before New Horizons was unexpected. They really expected more moons possibly rings, and they didn't find any. Now, there are two ways of looking at the solar system, and this is about the controversy. They're called dynamics versus geophysics. So here we have now, dynamics, I'll explain this first, focuses on what an object does to other objects, and says, in order for an object to be a planet, it's got to be the big guy on the block. It's got to be the biggest thing, and it sweeps everything else out of its orbit or captures it as a moon. Geophysicists say, oh, no, it doesn't matter what the object does to other objects. It's its intrinsic properties that matter. And if it's big enough and massive enough to be rounded by its gravity, then it's a planet. Okay, now in 2006, this was a very political and controversial decision. I personally oppose it. I think it's wrong. And the debate, like I said, didn't start now. It started in 1930, not 2006. But what the IAU did was take those two papers and come up with this definition, that a planet has to be in orbit around the sun, not a star. The sun has sufficient mass for its gravity. It has to be shaped by its own gravity. That's hydrostatic equilibrium, rounded by its gravity, which is an important threshold, because that's when an object becomes really complex and starts developing planetary processes and has cleared the neighborhood of its orbit. But what happened was this resolution was done on the last day of a 2-week conference. It was thrown together at the night before, didn't go through the regular process of being vetted by the committee, and the vote, and 333 to 91 voted that dwarf planets or underplanets are not planets at all, but another class of objects entirely. And that's really what the crux of the debate is. That's where the dissent comes from. Alan Stern coined the term dwarf planet all the way back in 1991. But the intention was dwarf planets are planets, not something else. So that really was the controversy. That's really what the crux of the controversy is. So the question is, who decides? Is it only the IAU, or can it be decided by a different group? The media really did a disservice because they portrayed, oh, Pluto's not a planet anymore because the IAU decided. When what they should have said is, there's this one group that said it's not a planet, but then you've had the same number of people signed a petition immediately rejecting it. So really it's an ongoing debate. And I like to say it's not a true or false question. Is Pluto a planet? It's not true or false, it's an essay question. What else? Well, thank you so much.
What about that song you were...
Oh, you know what? I don't know if we have time. I didn't...
we do have time. We've got about 9 minutes left.
I didn't bring the CD because I was... When I went over this, it was... this took long enough. There's a song, there are a lot of songs. Again, the arts are a whole, there were so many protests and responses to the IAU decision in the arts. There are, I'm also an actress and singer, and my birthday's in July. My birthday was right before the flyby, actually. I had my birthday party and left that night to go to Laurel, Maryland. There are many songs that have been written about Pluto. Funny, some sad. And so one of these, I think it might have been written for kids. It's called Ode to Pluto, and I found it. I ordered the CD, and I sing it every year at my birthday party. It's a backyard barbecue, in the heat and everything. I know he wanted me to sing. I didn't bring the CD because I was...
Can you sing a few lines?
You'll always be a planet to me, Pluto. You're the coolest icy mass in the galaxy. Your orbit is eccentric, and Neptune's path may intersect it. But you'll always be a planet